With the release of Deathloop right around the corner at the time of this video, I wanted to experience Arkane's best product till date again. So I decided to play the definitive edition of Dishonored again after all these years, and my god, this game is still phenomenal. This is what Deathloop has to try to excel. This is why Dishonored is a masterpiece. The story is set in the city of Dunwall, which is suffering through a rat plague. You play as Corvo Attano, the bodyguard and husband of the Empress, and you are returning to the city after a mission to gain some information. When you arrive, you get to meet your daughter Emily. You deliver the information to the Empress, but then a couple of assassins show up. A fight breaks out and one of them manages to kill the Empress and kidnaps Emily. It turns out the entire thing was a setup by two officers to betray and take the throne for themselves. Dirty sons of bitches. Now, because you are in the wrong place at the wrong time, they manage to frame you for the murder and lock you up. You manage to escape because of help from some people and are brought to their base. From there on, the main goal of the story is to save Emily and get her crowned as the rightful Empress of Dunwall. But everything is not as it seems. The rest is up to you to find out. The story is simple, but it's a conspiracy tale told extremely well through two things. First, the characters. You can speak with any non-hostile characters anywhere and not all of them have something interesting to say, but some of them do. But it's the side characters or your allies that do really well with the dialogue. I could tell how these people got where they are in life and genuinely felt bad for some of them. You get a magic heart in the game with the spirit of your game-ended wife, which, other than showing you collectibles, can also be used to learn a fact or get an insight on characters. Corvo Attano is also one of the few cases where I'm not bothered by the mute protagonist. Other than being goofy in a good way like the Batman Arkham games, many times the dialogues from enemies can also play a major role in the gameplay, which I'll come to later. And the second thing is the world. The setting in this game is absolutely fantastic. The game's graphics still look decent because of the visual style being oil painted, which reminded me of Life is Strange a lot of the times. The facial animations can look really rough sometimes though. Like, is this guy drunk or having a seizure? I can't tell. But the actual environments in these levels are astonishing. There are giant structures like huge machineries. The indoors are dense and the game maintains a very strong, grim sense. It's not too steampunk, but just enough to set it out of our world. Don't get it twisted though, because it can also look straight up beautiful at times. There's a lot of lore to be discovered which you will probably miss if you're not looking for it. The story genuinely feels like it's built into the world. Now, because Dishonored doesn't hold back in getting dark and showing really violent, disgusting and horrific imagery, aka my sex tape with your mom, the downfall of civilization through the plague is portrayed really fucking well. It doesn't beat Plague Tale for me, but it's still so good. All that combined with the crunchy sound quality and the environmental sounds that are really well fitting, I can't explain how immersed I was in this game, its world, and the best part of the game, the insanely great gameplay. One of Corvo's hands is for the sword and the other hand is for shooters, throwables, and the best of them all, superpowers. You can block enemy attacks and also parry them by pressing the block button just as you're about to get hit. Parrying gives a window for a counter attack that can instantly kill the enemy. Just like sex, when you get behind someone, you can choose to either penetrate them or choke them. You can also drop down on enemies and get the option to assassinate them. In terms of throwables, you got grenades and traps which you can set up however you want. You also get a crossbow which allows you to switch out ammo types like normal arrows, sleep, poison, incendiary arrows. You get the deal. Your gun also has changeable rounds, but that comes later as upgrades. Now comes superpowers, among which the two that you're probably going to be using the most are Dark Vision and Blink. Dark Vision is basically detective vision with the added ability to see enemy vision cones and noise. Blink, on the other hand, which is the most essential power in the game as it's the major player in the traversal, allows you to instantly teleport to another spot just like Bryce Hall's dad. There are a lot more superpowers which are fucking badass, and I'll come to them in a bit. The fighting is reminiscent of Ghost of Tsushima in the sense that there is no prompt to indicate an attack is coming, like come on your first time. It is fast-paced, brutal, and the animations are just so slick. And this doesn't just go for the combat, because all the movements in the game are smooth as fuck. Also, the PC port of this game is incredible, unlike its successor. There will be so much stuff going on your screen so fast, but Dishonored's engine doesn't drop a single frame, which is very much appreciated because the combat requires you to think on your feet and can be challenging at points. The music also mainly kicks in when you're spotted by enemies and gives a sense of intensity to fights. It is so satisfying because the inputs are super responsive and all your moves transition so smoothly from each other that you can be an absolute killing machine without the need to even slow down. But nothing is more satisfying than helping your mates get head. It's not all killing though, because the fact that you can finish this game without killing anyone should tell you that Dishonored is mainly designed as a stealth game. The enemy variety is decent and there is a type of enemy which disables your superpowers, so stealth is the best approach in this case. When you kill or knock someone out, you can carry their bodies and hide them. Now this is what we call a perfect hiding spot. The upgrades you buy for your gear actually make a visual difference. The AI in the game is good, but once you get to know it with some experience, it can be exploited for shit like this. It is harder not to kill people, so this playstyle provides a more challenging puzzle-like experience in my opinion. I swear at first I was gonna call this video Dishonored is a stealth masterpiece, but then I decided to change it to what it is now, because the methodical stealth and guns blazing approaches are both as good as each other, and it's all possible because of the best part of the gameplay, gameplay, which is the level design. This is how you make a game, goddammit. Exploration in these levels is not only important for getting weapon upgrade blueprints, runes to buy new powers, or bone charms for enhanced performance, not the type your dad needs, but also important because of the fact that many times NPCs will be having conversations that can prove very useful to you in your mission. You can also discover side quests by exploring, and it's such a gratifying feeling to find all this stuff on your own. There's a chaos system in the game which depends on how many people you kill throughout your playthrough. To get the canon or the good ending, you need to complete the game with low chaos, so I do recommend being as non-lethal as you can in at least one of your playthroughs. Because if you kill more people, the number of rats in the city increases to feast on the body, because of which, in my lethal playthrough, I found that some of the people who gave me side quests in my non-lethal playthrough were either already dead or turned into weird filthy plague zombies. Yes, the game world reacts to your choices on the go. The real reason this game is a masterpiece is because there is so much freedom and so many options for everything in this game, it's unreal. The levels are so meticulously crafted that every way in Dishonored feels like it's the right way to go. Whereas in most games, places like tops of light poles or some pipes that might be in a very niche location are either just empty textures or inaccessible, but in this game, you can go there. And all this doesn't just go for the platforming like traversal, it goes for the combat too, whether it be head-on or stealth. Remember how I said the combat requires you to think on your feet and can be challenging at points? Well, you can also make the enemies your bitch with the tools, superpowers, and your own skill level. Seriously, once you get good, you won't be waiting around in fights anymore. There's a rewire tool in the game which can turn enemy weapons against them. You can get more superpowers to slow down time, summon rats, and more, and you can buy an upgrade for each of these powers. The thing I don't like here is the upgrade cost for some of the powers is just complete bullshit. You're telling me I need 8 runes to upgrade time slowdown to time stop. Get the out of here. The best thing is every single system in the game culminates with and plays off of each other truly seamlessly. You have seen and are seeing all the gameplay on your screen yourself, but still, how about this time when I shot this guy with a crossbow, assassinated this other guy before he can do anything about it, then teleported onto an enemy turret, took out its fuel canister, and then killed another guy by yeeting it at him and exploding it. Or this time where I rewired an electric barrier and then walked this guy to it by taking control of his mind. I just don't know any other game that allows you to slow down time, pick an enemy's bullet out of midair and shoot him with it. The possibilities here are mind-boggling, and the amount of fun you can have by getting good at the game, experimenting, and being creative is awesome. If you have ever watched my Hitman 3 video, you know that I am a sucker for game systems like these. The game design on display here is a spectacle, and I can't suck this game's dick enough for how free, expansive, and marvelous it is. Now we come to the 2 DLCs, the Knife of Dunwall and the Brigmore Witches. Remember when I told you that a couple of assassins show up? A fight breaks out and one of them manages to kill the Empress. Well, in these DLCs, you actually play as that assassin. His name is Dowd, and while he does carry many of the powers from Corvo's side, he also has his own unique twist on some of them. One quick example I can give you is that the blink Dowd has can also slow down time when you're standing still. On the other hand, the dark vision Dowd has is very weak compared to Corvo's. The story in these DLCs revolve around a witch called Delilah, and it was really fun to see the events that happened before the main story on Dowd's side. These are DLCs, but they don't cut corners. The levels here are just as expansive and give you just as much freedom as the main game. So all the creative, crazy stuff you can do in the main game, you can also do in the DLCs. Even in amazing games, how often do you see DLCs whose quality is comparable to the main game? So in conclusion, Dishonored is a game that is meant to be replayed. I was able to complete the entire game with the DLCs with low chaos in about 12 hours, and after doing that, I immediately started the game again. Even Hitman didn't make me want to play again instantly, goddammit. The only really kind of major problem I have with the game is that I really wish this game had a New Game Plus mode like its sequel. Fortunately, at least on PC, you have the option to download a save file from Nexus Mods which has all the upgrades, equipment, and powers ready from the start. If you can't tell by now, I love Dishonored. This game is so amazing and polished from top to bottom, and I hope Arkane is able to deliver something close to it with Deathloop. So that is pretty much it for this video. If you enjoyed, please consider liking, sharing, subscribing to the channel, and also hitting the bell notification icon so that you may never miss out on any future content. My latest track, Flip the Script, is available for streaming on all platforms, so please consider checking it out as well, along with the other videos on your screen right now, and I'll see you next time.